we also discussed the three, the three constraints which we face in project: scope, cost, and quality. At the intersection, scope, cost, and time. At the intersection, we have the quality, and in high-profile projects like an airport project or Burj Khalifa type or NEOM type project, then quality is something separate. You will see it as a fourth pillar. And we discuss about different stages. So there are 5 different stages for the project. Then we have different knowledge areas. Okay. Then move on to the construction management, the areas or the responsibilities of a construction manager. Okay. And then we have this. Okay, so in what respects the construction or project manager is different. First of all, the scope of work. Okay, a construction manager is focusing on the construction part. Okay, but you know, for any development project, construction is not the entire project, right? There's something which happens before construction and something which happens after construction as well. Okay, so the construction manager is only dealing with a part of the project. I give the example of coming to the class. Okay, so the class is the implementation stage, right? But this before the class you have to do something, and after the class, unfortunately, you still have to do something. Okay, but a project manager may take care of everything, all the stages of the project. Okay, including administrative tasks, marketing, and design and whatnot. Risk management. So again, because the scope of work is construction on site, so he is dealing with the risks which are related to the sites. Okay, he is trying to mitigate the risk. Mitigate means minimizing the negative aspects. Okay, minimizing the negative impacts of any unforeseen event. So he is only focusing on the construction process in this regard. Okay, so if something happens in the market, something happens with the consultant, okay, something happens with the owner, the construction manager will not do anything about it. Okay. Okay, but again, the project manager will deal with everything. If something happened in the market crashed, stock market crashed, okay, the petroleum supply happened, something happened with the supply of the petrol or something, he is also dealing with those risks. Okay, so and the risks are mentioned, for example, change in scope, budget, overrun, delay. In this case, for construction manager, safety is a big issue. Okay, I told you last time as well, we are dealing with physical products. Okay, and the process is entirely physical. It's not something which you are, I gave the example of a software design. So the project is not physical at all. Okay, so until you do the real-time implementation, okay, nothing is at stake here. Okay, but in the construction process, this is not the case. Okay, even something as small as clearing the site has physical aspects, has safety aspects, right? Okay, so here the main thing is the safety hazard, which could be slightly less in other cases. Okay, the authority of making decisions. Okay, so he has more authority related to the construction process, but not the whole project. Okay, so he can decide how much labor should be there on the site, when should the material be ordered, okay, how many hours the excavator will work, but he cannot change, for example, the place of the project. He cannot say, okay, this land is not suitable for this type of construction, let us buy the land somewhere else. Okay, or he cannot say, in this condition we have the problem of earthquake or wind or floods or something, So let us change the building from 4 floors to 3 floors. It doesn't have that much decision making power. Okay, but in other case, the project manager can deal with the scope of work as well. Okay, he has certain power over the scope of work as well, and he can deal with even the location in some cases. If the project is for example installing a new manufacturing unit, then he has some say in it as well, where it should be situated. So the projects like building a new manufacturing plant for cars, for example. So now you have seen there are countries which are doing them, or which are supposed to, which have the brands, okay, but they are moving to other countries because those countries have cheap labor. Okay, so somebody must have made this decision, right? Okay, so we don't have this freedom. Car manufacturing is too expensive here, so let us shift it to that country because it will be cheaper there. A construction manager cannot do this, right? I need a Burj Khalifa here. No, not here. I'll make it in Pakistan. Okay. So we are mainly dealing with land development projects. Okay, construction managers deal with land development project. So what is land development? It is converting an empty land into something of from one form to another. Okay, it could be an empty land. So whatever you construct on that land will change its use, will change its form, or it could be something else, and then you are developing it into something else. Okay. Last semester there was a lecture from. There were 2 lectures from Injaz. You guys only attended one of them, but in the other one they came with the architect who built the new Injaz headquarters in Hassan. So that building was earlier something else, some sports facility or something. So now they changed it to, the building is still there. Okay, from outside you may feel little change because I pass from there daily. So from the outside the change may not be that much, but the use of the land has changed. Okay, so that is also a land development project. Okay, so the meaning of land development is when you change the use or form of land from one thing to another. Okay, from anything to something else. Okay, so that is a land development project. So this is a systematic process which involves all these steps which I mentioned here. So you have to collect the data, existing conditions, the area of the land, the soil conditions, the weather conditions, so on and so forth. You study and try to understand the data. Okay, once you collect the data, you study, understand it, and if something is missing, then you extrapolate. So the data is, let's suppose 2 years old. Okay, so I will do some extrapolation to know what, or assume what can happen now. Okay, so this is called as extrapolation. Then you start creating the plans. Okay, you start creating with the initial plan, rough sketches and so on and so forth of what can be done on this particular land, or what you want to do on this particular land after you have the data. Okay, your goals are that your plan should be politically, economically, environmentally acceptable for the client as well as the public. Okay, politically meaning it should be according to the rules and regulations, right? Okay, whatever the rules and regulations are adopted there. So the area is commercial, you cannot build a hospital there, for example. Okay, or the land is reserved for a school, you cannot go and build a mall there. Okay, some of the rules and regulations. Or there are some areas in which the height of the building is restricted, right? You cannot go above this much, like near airports and so on. So these are all rules and regulations which you need to follow. And then you have the economics, obviously should be within the budget, and then you have the environmental standards. Okay, the project should not be such that it will harm the environment. All projects harm the environment. You get my point, huh? Not too much. Okay, not too much. So, and it should be acceptable for the client and as well as for the public. Okay. So I mentioned how many aspects here? 3, right? How many belong to the client and how many belong to the public? You have 3 aspects here, right? You have to look at the plan from 3 things. Okay, economic, environment, and political. So which of them belong to public and which of them belong to the client?
Economically as for client.
Is for
The
client.
other 2 is for public.
Is for public. Okay, environment could also be for the client, right? You will also live there. It's not like build a house and then have to go to Mars. So yeah. So it needs the person who is doing these sort of projects. He needs these skills, basically persuasion, salesmanship, and negotiation. Basically, how to sell your project. Once you have developed the plan, you have to sell it, right? You have to sell it to the client. You have to sell it to your boss. Why I'm doing this? You have to sell it to the government, right? When you go for the approval of the design, this is like selling. You are asking them to approve it, right? It's like selling your project to them. Okay, so you have to make sure that your plan can or will be approved or will be accepted, and for the people who can invest, they will invest in it. They will buy basically your project. Okay, so this is the complete team of a land development project, or the complete team which is involved in land development. Okay, obviously the client, there will be someone who will fund the project. It could be the client himself if he has enough money. Otherwise, they take money from where?
Investors.
Like who?
The government.
The government can invest. Okay, if it is something of public benefit. Who else? Huh? Bank, right? Okay. And then there are other investors as well, international investors or other what they call financing companies and so on, right? Land surveyor. Okay, so now we are going towards, this is like the technical aspects now, where the engineers and architects are involved. Okay, so surveyor, a civil engineer, a landscape architect, another architect because we have too many of them. Okay, project designer, consultant basically. Okay, attorney, which will take care of the legal things. Okay, and urban planner, again something of an architect. Okay, transportation planner, I don't know why. Then there could be environmental specialists. Okay, they are now in all the projects. Okay, market analyst and researcher who will take care of the market needs. Okay, once your project is ready, you need the agents who will sell it and who will take care of the dealings from person to person. Okay, real estate specialist. They are also called as valuators. Okay, so they give you the value of the land, and if you are investing so much, will you get that much in return or not, and so on. Okay, government organizations who approve your project, other people, okay, who are living around your project, who will buy your project, who will live in that project, or who will be doing business there. Okay, other things we just invented. Okay, because we need to run our universities. We have geotechnical engineers, structural engineers, archaeologists if the site is an old site or something. Okay, anyways, yes.
So is the construction manager responsible for the whole team?
No. This is what we said. The part of the construction manager is related to the construction process and what is happening on the site. Okay, so he is not dealing with land valuation, for example. Okay, his work will affect it, but he is not dealing with it. Okay, in land development project, these are the 10 steps which are involved. First of all, site selection. Who is doing the site selection? The client. Okay, the client or the investor, whatever. Then they do the feasibility analysis. Feasibility means what?
Related to finances,
Related to finance? Part of it.
budget analysis,
Huh?
budget analysis.
Very good English. Okay. Finance, budget. Let's move forward. Yes. What else? Apart from feasibility means what? Something is feasible, this thing is not feasible, this is feasible. You guys are doing this now, right? In these few days. The registration is going on, right? You guys are doing this. Yes. Benefit and you compare it with what? Benefit and cost. Okay. So basically the cost benefit analysis. Feasibility is cost benefit analysis. Okay. So the cost is not only money and the benefit is not only money. The cost can be environmental. The cost can be disturbance to the people. Okay. Damage to the environment. Okay. The benefit can also be the amount of comfort you will have, the business you will generate, the amount of people you will employ. Okay, so cost benefit analysis. The client obviously will initiate it, okay, but there are other people who will get involved here. Site analysis, site conditions, I already told you, okay, the size, the conditions, the weather conditions, the soil conditions, and so on and so forth. Okay, then you start with the contract, because now you have decided I'm going to do this on this site. So you selected the location, you have now a sketch of your project in your mind. So now you need other professionals to go in detail with the design and so on and so forth. So then you start with the contracts, and obviously the first contract could be with the design engineer, with the consultant, who will start with the designing process, right? You can see the designing process also does not happen in one step. Okay, so there is now like 3 steps. Okay, this one is very raw for the a client himself to approve and have an idea about the cost. So this is what will happen, and you can have a rough idea about the cost from here. And whatever changes you want to make, you can make it here. Okay, then you go for the schematic design, which is more detailed, and then you can do a proper cost analysis and so on and so forth. Okay, you know about the resources now and so on. Okay, and then you have the final design, which is for the contractors now, the people who will execute the work. Got it? Okay, so up till now you are making some changes. This is for the client, he will see and make the changes. Again for the client, more detailed for the client. Okay, why are we not doing this thing directly? Why are we doing this? If I do this directly, I will still show it to the client, right? So I'll perform the full design, I'll go to the client and tell him what the full cost. Why should I do a conceptual design and tell him a rough cost? Why not go for the final amount directly? Sorry?
Because the client may refuse.
The client may refuse it, he may still refuse it. He may refuse it from the conceptual design as well, right? He can refuse, no, I don't like it. So why should he, maybe if you did more accurate work, maybe he will accept it. But at least if he is refusing it, he is refusing on the basis of something accurate, right? Something more detailed. So why are we feeding him something which is rough?
Because I don't think it was my time.
Yes. Okay. The final design will take more time and effort. Okay. So we are trying to save that. And in the conceptual design, you can bring more alternatives as well. Okay. But you cannot bring 10 different alternatives with final design. It will take a lot more effort. Okay. So whatever alternatives you want to offer, whatever options you want to offer, you will do it with the conceptual design. Okay. So even if it is a rough cost, it will take less time. Okay. So we are trying to save the time and effort of the consultant. Okay. Before he launches into the full design. Okay. Then you have the production of the execution plans, because now you have the design ready. Okay. Normally at this stage, the contractor should get involved. Okay, so now the final designs are ready. Now you will go into how many days it will take, what equipments you need, when do you need it, how much material you need, and so on. Okay, then you have the execution stage, the construction itself. Okay, and then you have the as-built surveys, which is basically telling the client how the work has been done in the end. Okay, so these are the surveys for the final product. Okay, so they are done for quality assurance now. Okay, and for payment and so on. Okay. So they are done after the execution has finished. Okay, I think I have talked about most of them. So there are some factors written here which you need to consider for each case. Site analysis, I already talked about it. Here in the, site selection, I talked about it. There's nothing much here. Obviously the person who will invest wants the value back for his money, right? He's looking at the neighborhood. If I invest here, how much return I can get. Site analysis, he's looking at is the site appealing for the people, is it in a good area near the sea or near something green or near the mountain or in the sky or on Mars or something. Okay, we are going there, right? Okay. So if I do, what are the normal prices in that area, because I have to invest, so I cannot, if I do over investment, I will not get the money back. Utility is available. Okay, I believe in here it's less of a problem, but there are countries where if utilities are not available, you can get the whole project, like project approved, utilities will come, but they take a very long time. Okay, so it could happen that your project is finished, utilities are still on the way. But that means your project is, nobody will come there and buy. You finish the work. Okay, you get my point. So if utilities are available, it's a big plus point. Obviously, even in Bahrain or wherever you are doing it, if utilities are already available, it's better for the project, right? Okay. What is the zoning? Zoning is what I was telling you about earlier, about the land use. What type of building can be done there? Okay, so all land is not available for all types of construction. That is called as zoning. Okay, the building height, the type of building, and so on and so forth. And yeah. Then feasibility is analysis. You will do the market survey. Is this project really needed? Okay, what are my options? Who can finance me? Okay, what are the potential for the sales? For now, we are looking at from the market perspective. Okay, there are forms available, pro forma or forms available in which you can put your data and do the analysis for you. Okay, people who are in accounting and those things, they have these things. Okay, and then you do an engineering feasibility study. So this is market feasibility and this is engineering feasibility. Okay, what's the difference between them? These and this one. This is all financial and this is engineering. What's the difference? Yes. What's the difference between engineering feasibility study and financial feasibility study?
Engineering, like the material cost.
Yeah. Anything else? Material is one of them, yes.
Cost, time of construction.
Time of construction, yes. What else?
The responsibility.
Huh?
The responsibility.
Responsibility of what?
That's the responsibility. The engineer responsibilities.
Okay, the responsibilities are different. Okay, so this one will be carried out by an engineer. This one will be carried out by someone related to finance. Okay, and the engineering studies, you also consider the weather. You also consider what are the natural hazards in that area. Are there earthquakes? Are there, frequent rain and snowfall? Okay, what type of material you will use? Is this material available or not? the technology you are going to use in this project, is this available? If you buy it from somewhere, do you have the labor to use it, and so on and so forth. So this all comes under engineering feasibility. So we're looking at the design and construction aspects here. In the first case, we are looking at buying and selling. From where the money will come for the project, and how will I recover it, and how will I make my profit. In the last one, you are talking about how the construction and design will happen. Okay, yeah. So the financial models which are used for doing the financial studies, they are models which give you the net profit of the project in future. The project is not completed, right? So you need some equations, some models which can calculate these things for you, right? Right or wrong? Clear now? Okay. Same thing as your design. Okay. When you're designing the building is not ready, so you don't know how much load it will take. Okay. So you have the design equation standards to do that, right? So same goes here, but instead of loads and strength and cross sections, these financial models will give you the cost and benefit in terms of money. Okay, that will give you the net revenue, okay, cash flow, taxes, they are the inputs basically. Okay, and then they are presented to the company's management, who will decide whether to go for it or not. Okay, so and then the points which I mentioned about the engineering study. Okay, so you talk about what is the zoning, what type of project you are looking for, how much space should be available for this sort of a project. Client is saying I will build a hospital. So then you look at the standards and you look at the zoning. Is the hospital allowed here? If it is allowed, how much space will be required for this hospital, and so on and so forth. Okay, and yeah, the cost of infrastructure and so on. Okay, anything which I missed? Yeah, so the final design, before it goes to the contractor, it must be approved by the agencies, by the government agencies. Okay, this is the only new thing. What else? Yeah, okay. So this is a very messed up diagram of what is happening in the land development work. Okay, so the design is in the middle of it. Okay, and then you have all these things happening, but basically the diagram is showing you how these things are interconnected. Okay, so they are not done isolated, like somebody who is doing cost and benefit analysis, the financial feasibility of the project. It's not like he will not need any engineering data. Okay, and the person who is doing the engineering feasibility or the engineering analysis, okay, it's not like he will not need any financial data. Okay, or the person who is doing the site analysis is not like he will not consider what type of construction will happen. Okay, so all these things are interconnected. Okay, they are depending upon each other. Clear?